Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everybody. This is Move Easy Yoga with Via. It is the 16th of July, 2020. Still in coronavirus world, actually, just for future. I'm going to unshare the screen and spotlight Kathy, and we're going to start on our backs. Lying on your back, just starting to come into the room and watch your breath. I lost the spotlight. Isn't that interesting? Okay. Notice the breath as it moves through your body. Notice that the floor is supporting you, supporting the back of your body. Bring your hands behind your head and interlace your fingers. Vagus nerve reset. So you're going to keep your head still, but move your eyes. So shift your eyeballs to the right with your eyes open or closed, and wait for a swallow, yawn, sigh, or gulp. Come back to center. Shift your eyeballs to the left. Wait for a swallow, sigh, yawn, or gulp. And do this, repeat this 2 more sets. Right, left, right, left. Finish up, leave your hands where they are, and head ramping, just pressing the back of your skull into the floor, or your hands, holding for a couple breaths, and then releasing. Finish up and begin to practice Viloma breath, dividing the inhale into 3 parts with a pause after each part, each fraction of an inhale, and then a complete ordinary exhale. 2 more Viloma breaths. Finish up. Bring your hands by your side, palms down. We're going to do a hypopressive movement, bridge. The bridge, and so 3 breaths, and then hold the breath out, no breath, while you lift your hips into a bridge pose and bring your arms overhead. And with straight arms, as straight arms as you can get. And so remember, in hypopressives, your heel is on the floor and your feet are up toward the ceiling. So toes towards the feet ceiling. Dorsiflexion at the ankle. I'm gonna cue your breath and holding no breath. 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. No breath. Hold your breath out. Lift your hips. Bring your arms overhead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale, drop your hips and bring your arms back beside your hips. So if it's hard to get your hips up into a bridge, you could put a brick under, a thick brick especially, under, or even a sponge ball underneath your hips to help you stay there. Let's do it again. So inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last one, inhale. Exhale. No breath. Hold your breath out. Lift your hips. Bring your arms overhead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go ahead and inhale and then exhale. Drop your hips and bring your arms back. We're going to stay here, but we're going to be side lying. So take a side lying position, and you may want to put a brick or some towels under your head. We're going to do a couple things here. We're going to do this one at the end of the class too, to see if we've created more openness in the chest and shoulders. So stacking your shoulders, your hips, your knees, your ankles. Bring your right arm back behind you. Oh, you know what? I just realized you're not side laying. You are on your back. Let's see. Wait a minute. No. Let me see. No, just go ahead and do this and see what. Now I am having a senior moment. Go ahead and bring your arm back behind you. Just straight back, all the way back, and see if you can reach the floor and keep, or not. So it's back, all the way back. Palm is up. You're going to feel an opening in the chest. So this is the one we don't want to do when we do the other stacked shoulder movement. But you're going to take your arm back behind you and see if you can do that. and still keep your hips stacked. I should be doing this with you, but I'm afraid you're going to lose my voice. I'd have to kick Frida off the mat too. There you are, hopefully opening the chest, taking some breaths, noticing where you go. Can you get your hand to the floor? Do you need to put your hand on a brick or pillow? And then come back to stacked. And keep your shoulders stacked and circle your shoulder, your arm. So don't bring it, so when you go back, try to keep the shoulders looking straight forward. And then keep circling. This may feel like it's out of context because we usually do it with the side-lying series, and we're not doing the side-lying series. But it's such a lovely pose and a movement, and so I thought we would just add it to the twist. Why we did the twist is to see if we can measure how open the chest feels at the beginning and the end of class. So just do maybe 6 circles one way and then 6 the other. Have you switched directions, Kathy? No, not yet. Okay. Everybody switched directions about now. Slow and easy. Watching the breath. So you could inhale going back and exhale coming forward. And then we're going to do flying pizza for the rest of this set. So arm is going to be, the elbow is tucked in at the waist, and then your forearm is forward and parallel to the floor. And then you just bring your arm back and rotate the wrist, and then come back. So palm down, palm toward the ear, palm toward the floor. Keep your shoulders stacked. You should feel this in the upper back. We're working upper back and chest a lot today. And then when you're ready, just flip to the other side and we'll do the same series, starting with the spine twist and chest opener. Lying on your side, taking the top arm up and back behind you. And you can move the shoulder this time. You don't keep the shoulders stacked. You keep the hips stacked if you can. All the way back. And feel the opening in the chest. Stay here and take some breaths. And notice what's happening at the front of the chest. And we'll be doing this at the end of class too. And see if you have more of an opening here then or not. Come back to stack shoulders and circle, create a shoulder circle. So you can start back behind you, do about 6. If you don't have any room to have your arm straight, you can bend your elbow and make a shoulder circle, half shoulder circle, it's called. Shoulder clocks. Some people call these shoulder clocks or half shoulder clocks. When you've done about 6, switch directions. And when you're finished, come into a position for flying pizza, bending the elbow, tucking it into the waist, keeping it there, keeping the elbow bent, and then bringing your arm back, your forearm back, and then you're also adding a wrist movement here. So the wrist, the palm is facing the floor at the beginning, and it's facing your ear at the end. You should feel this in the upper back. And the more you focus, it can become isometric, so you're really resisting as you go. And finish that up. Find your sponge ball and come onto your belly, prone. We're going to have the sponge ball on the front of your body at the abdominals, starting at the belly button. So put your sponge ball at the belly button underneath you, and make sure that the little pokey thing that is facing down, so it's not poking you. You can be on your elbows or you can be down on your stacked arms. Whichever will work for you. You try both, either. And so just wait and breathe first. You almost have to catch your breath here. This should feel a little bit foreign to you, foreign and wonderful. And then start to move up and down. You can use your elbows, you can use your toes, and up and down over the ball. Breathing. This is designed to open up the front of the body and actually also the upper back, the respiratory system. And now try to move side to side. Whenever you're ready, come back to center. And now we're going to do a contract and relax. So you're going to go ahead and, with your breath, pull in, and contract your breath. The ball will be kind of sucked up into your skin. And then relax. So contract, hold, and relax. And then you can do it again, contract and hold, and while you're there, contracting, move up and down over the ball with a contraction. And then side to side with a contraction. So start over again. Contract the breath, and then move side to side. So all of these movements are the next sets are gonna start sounding very similar because you're just relocating the ball and then repeating the movements. Up and down and side to side while you're contracting. Should be a different experience than without the contraction. So go ahead and stop that and then relocate the ball below the belly button. And breathe. And then up and down, using your feet or your elbows or both. So this is massaging the organs. It should feel delicious but foreign because not even your masseuse massages your organs usually. There may be specialty masseuses that work on organs. Side to side. And then go ahead and come back and do the same thing, but first with a contraction. So the breath, you take a breath, contract, then move. Up and down and side to side. And finish up that and then relocate the ball, the sponge ball, above the belly button. So this is going to open up the upper back and the respiratory system. And just stay here and find the new location. Stay here and breathe. Go up and down and side, up and down first. If this hurts, if any of this is a location that's uncomfortable, you may want to just come to seated and rub the ball in a similar direction. It's not going to be it's not going to be as intense, but it may be then more available to you. After you've done both up and down and side to side, then start the contraction. Come back to center and inhale, contract the breath. You're still above the belly button with your ball. Contract, hold, and then move up and down and side to side. You can still breathe and still be contracting the breath. That is the Abdominal sponge ball series. Finish up and then lie on your back with the sponge ball underneath your upper back, just below or just at your scapula. Find your way onto your back. You may want to put something under your head, washcloths or a brick, because you don't want to take your head back too far. So this is another chest opener. We did it the other day, maybe last class even. So find your space. Your ball is placed somewhere between your waist, but not at your waist, above the waist and below the shoulders. And then stay here and feel the opening that is created, inspired by the placement of the ball. You can have your arms straight out in a T. You could have your arms in a cactus cowboy pose. All of those arm placements will help you also with an open chest. Just stay here. We're going to stay here for a couple minutes. Breathing. You can even practice a breath, ribcage breathing, or not. You can just breathe an ordinary breath. Or you could practice ribcage breathing, or Viloma breathing, or extended exhale breathing. We have one more minute. And go ahead and bring yourself up to standing with 2 balls and a brick nearby. So let's see. Let's start with the 2 balls. They aren't in a tote though. They're 2 balls, 2 small balls, side by side. And you're going to be standing with your back against a wall and place the balls just under the scapula. So this is definitely mid-back work. So you could, by the way, there's, multiple ways to release the upper back on the wall. So this would be a great thing for you to just experiment with. But see if Kathy can place her balls just together. They're together on either side of the spine, just under the scapula. Caitlin's going to tell me I should have a picture for this.
Right here?
Yep, I think so, or maybe a little higher. I don't know, but that looks like it's your scapula comes to a point at that point, so it's wide. There's a wider gap than up above, and place the balls there and press on them. And you ought to be able to guess what we're going to do in a minute. So just press, but then eventually start moving a little bit side to side.
Feels like a massage.
What?
Feels like a massage.
It is a massage. You are your own masseuse with a pair of therapy balls in your toolkit. You're your own masseuse. And then bend your knees and go up and down and see if you can find a little bit of an up and down movement. It's not much. You can imagine that you could spend a lot more time. We could relocate the balls a little higher. We could relocate them a little lower. But there's more to come. So more to come on the front side of the body, on the wall. So I'm going to ask you to finish up and take one ball and a brick and face the wall. Yummy, yummy. So now we're going to work on opening Pec Minor and the clavicle. And most people will need a small brick and a ball, although let me say that some people just use a big alpha ball. Some people use a tiny brick or a big brick. So you're facing the wall, the brick is there, the ball is at where Pec Minor meets the armpit. So you're going to place the ball there and place you and the ball on the brick and face the wall. Face the wall. And can you stand in so you're not leaning so that it looks so good posture-ish? Nice, better. Yeah. So that just means you bring your feet a little closer to the wall. And stay here and breathe. Just allowing the ball to create space in your fascia. And then bend your knees and go up and down a little bit, up and down. This is a small movement, but the knees bending and unbending as the ball goes a little up and a little down. And then come back to this neutral location and then side to side, a little side to side. What we're doing is opening up the chest or helping to support a more open chest by releasing tension that we hold here. We're going to stay on this side and work on the clavicle. So this time you're going to place your ball find your clavicle. It's actually going to be a little higher than you were before. Find your clavicle and place the ball at the outer edge of the clavicle underneath the clavicle. And then you're going to roll the ball. You're going to roll back and forth, side to side, across the clavicle to the sternum. So first your way at the outside and then your way to the inside of the clavicle. And just breathe and move. Now, I'm doing this seated, so this is another alternative if you can't stand at a wall and, say you're watching TV. It's always a good example. Watching a movie on Netflix, you could do the same movement. It's not going to be quite as intense, but it's going to have a big effect on helping to release the tension you hold in the chest. This is all postural, actually, among other things. Helping support good posture by allowing the chest to open. Back and forth you go a couple times, very slowly across underneath the clavicle. And when you get back to your original point, you can also do a little bit of up and down. Go ahead and switch sides whenever you're ready. This time we're going to start with Pec Minor again on the other side. And that little corner, that little divot that occurs where Pec Minor meets the arm bone. If you're tight here, you may feel the tightness. And you can stay here and just breathe and press everything forward. Your torso is looking forward into the wall. And breathe. And then start to move up and down. Bend your knees, move up and down. Breathe. And side to side. Breathing. You may even feel the release, the additional breath that's available to you when you do this work. And finish up that, and then find your way onto the outer edge of the underneath of the clavicle, which is a little higher than where you were before. And then just start to roll the ball along the underneath side of the clavicle, all the way into the sternum or breastbone, same thing, and all the way back. And come back to the original point. And up and down a little bit. So you can bend your knees here. This is This is a nice place to work also. And then go ahead and stop whenever you're ready. Put your ball and your block aside and find your way onto the floor, side lying. We're going to do that same spine twist and see if you're going to notice we've spent the entire class so far working on opening the upper back and the front of the chest. And there's no right or wrong answers, but it's kind of fun sometimes to test and retest. So lie on your side. Stack your knees and ankles and shoulders, but then you're going to bring your shoulder back behind you. So they'll be stacked for a minute in the beginning. The upper arm comes up and back behind you. Very nice. And see if you can get it onto the floor. If you can't, we're going to be resting here for a little while, so see if you can put something under it. Why don't you, Kathy, face the other direction so people can see the back side of this pose?
Thought of that.
You just thought of that. Okay, so did I. Great minds, you know. So now, Kathy's using her wrist to get farther, but you don't have to do that, Kathy. Just if you want to, you can put something underneath your arm or your wrist, like a brick, another brick. Do you have another brick you could put under there? And then the other question is, so there you go. And the other question is, did you get further? Are you more comfortable in this stretch than you were when you started?
I feel like I can go further.
Oh, you can go further without, so you want to take the brick away?
I just feel like I can go further than I could before.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so good. So that's what if, like I said, there's no right or wrong answer, but it's lovely to measure if you have made some progress, and it sounds like Kathy has. Yeah. Go ahead and go to the other side. And bring your hip forward, your top hip forward, Kathy, so that you're not moving your hip backward, just your arm and your chest. And that way you actually focus on opening up the chest. Your head can be any direction. It could be looking backward, forward, or to the ceiling. And just take some time and notice if you can feel more open in the chest, more ability, more range of motion here than you did before. There may be other feelings you feel too. You may feel more cellular activity. You may feel more alive in this whole area, chest and armpit area. Go ahead and find your way onto your prone. We are going to do the prone back extension and the prone thoracic stretch. And if we have time, we might do something else. So lying on your belly with your arms at your hips. So remember, there's 3 levels of this, and if you can't do the level 2 or 3, you can stay at level 1. So use your imagination and pay attention to your own body. Inhale to prepare, and exhale to lift your arms, your chest, and your head. Take a breath here. You may even want to come up a little higher. Inhale to return. Inhale to prepare to return, and exhale to return. That was level 1. Level 2 is airplane. We're going to do level 1 and then level 2. Take an inhale to prepare for level 1 and an exhale to come up into level 1. And if you want to, stay here and breathe and lift your chest a little more, unless it hurts your back. Take an inhale to prepare to come into 2, and then exhale, arms into airplane or a T shape. Take an inhale and exhale and lift a little more if you can. And then inhale to prepare to return, and exhale to return to the floor. Very nice. So inhale to prepare for level 1, and then exhale to come up. Inhale, stay here and maybe lift a little more unless it bothers your back. Inhale to prepare to come to level 2, and then exhale, come out, arms out in an airplane. Take an inhale and then exhale, come up a little. Now inhale to prepare for level 3, and exhale, come into level 3, Superwoman. Very nice. Stay here. Inhale, come back to 2, so arms, and then and that was on an exhale, and then inhale again, and then exhale, arms down by the side. Well, that was very nice, and I think we have time to do it again, but I want you to rest for a minute by just bringing your arms in front of you and stacking them and resting your head on your stacked arms. Just take some breaths here. If any of you would like to be the model for a class, just let me know, or let Kathy know. One of the lovely things about my working with Kathy is that I get to see her progress, especially this upper back here. Lots of progress. You know what, I think we won't do it again. I think we're going to do instead the thoracic stretch. So go ahead and bring your arms out into T. I talked too much there. Took away some of the time. And then look to the right and lift your right leg up and over. And you can take it back behind you and just keep breathing. You can bend your knee if you want. The thing that you don't want to do is you want to keep your arms and your armpits on the floor. But you can do anything you want with that right leg that creates actually more of a stretch in the upper back. And then come back down. Other side, look left. Lift the left leg, bring it back over, behind, straight-legged or bent knee. Stay here and breathe. And then come on back. I know I've told you before, but if this is hard on your lower back, stop and just lay here and do alternating glute squeezes. Look right, lift your right leg, bring it back over the left leg. And stay here and breathe. And then come on back. And switch sides, look left leg comes up and back over the right leg. Keep both armpits on the floor, so check on that, and just stay here and breathe. and come back. Come up into your favorite seated pose, floor seated pose. We're going to do a flat back hip hinge. So this is another way to create space at the lower back and spine. But remember, the movement we're doing is starting at the hip. It's a hip hinge. It's not rounding the lumbar spine. So keep the spine straight like a broomstick and come forward. You can use your arms if you want. You can put your arms on the floor and actually pull your spine forward. Keep your back straight. That's the main gig here. Open your chest. Keep your chest open, the back straight. And then go ahead and come back. See if you can use your abdomen to come back. Although you can use your arms also. The arms help you with your structure. They help remind you not to bend at the waist, not to round bend. So hip hinge, forward. Your arms can be on your knee or on the floor. Now when you get down here, as far as you can go, it could be small, lift your right arm up by your right ear. Open your chest, keep your chest open. And then come on back and switch sides. No, don't come on back there. Come on back down. So if you came back like Kathy, just come back down again because we're going to do the left arm. The left arm overhead. Come back, come out as far as you can go, flat back, and then raise your left hand by your ear. And stay here and breathe, creating a lot of space in the lumbar spine. And if you dare, both arms. Look a little farther ahead of you, Kathy, yeah, okay. So the chest is open, the lumbar spine is straight. You're creating so much power here. And go ahead and come back to seated. And face me, Kathy, okay? Before we go to the floor for Yoga Nidra, I just want you to open your arms. Power arms, open arms out to the side in a V. All the way up, straighten your arms. Keep your arms straight and up toward the ceiling. Yes. Power arms. This is a power position. Say to yourself, I have things to give.
I have things to give.
And hug yourself and say, I have things to receive. Keep your spine straight. I have things to give. And I have things to receive. Very nice, everybody. Come on to the floor on your back for Yoga Nidra. I will stop my video. Find a comfortable supine position. Your knees can be bent or extended. You could have a towel or washcloth over your eyes. And you could actually cover yourself up with a blanket. Just find something that's cozy and comfortable for you. I'm going to guide you through 61 points. And you're going to move your attention to those points without moving your body. Starting with breath. Just watching the breath in and out. Watching the abdomen move with the breath. Now bring your awareness to the center of your eyebrows, center of your throat, right shoulder, elbow, wrist, right thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, right wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, left shoulder, elbow, wrist, left thumb, left thumb, second, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, left wrist, left elbow, shoulder, center of your heart, center of your throat, then center, spiritual heart center, right side of your chest, heart center, left side of your chest, heart center, navel center, center of your pelvis, right hip, knee, ankle, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, right ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, left hip, knee, ankle, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, left ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, navel center, heart center, center of your throat, center of your eyebrows. This completes your 61-point guided yoga nidra meditation. Go ahead and start to notice your breath. Bring your attention back to the room. You can extend your legs if you'd like. Start to wiggle. Maybe the arms go overhead. Stretching the legs in one direction, the arms in the other, creating space between the pelvis and the rib cage. More space. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Wiggle the right side of your body and then the left. Bring your right knee to your chest and hug it, and then hug the left knee. Hug both knees and rock your knees from side to side. If you need to, you can use a strap here instead of hugging with your arms. And then find your way onto your side on the floor, using the bottom arm as a pillow. Take a breath. And then bring yourself up to seated and unmute yourself. Bring yourself up to your favorite floor-seated position and unmute yourself. Bring your hands to your heart. I'm going to create a gallery, the gallery view. Hands to your heart. Press your palms together really, really strongly. And sit up tall. And then relax the hands. Lift the skull, the back of the skull, a little so you can nod forward over the cervical spine. Nodding, bowing to each other, honoring each other, the light in each of us and the light in all of us. And we're going to close the class by saying to each other, Namaste.
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 Thank you, everybody.
Right, thank you.